What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the first stream of the Horny Goat channel. My name is JP, as you all know, or as some of you know me, as the Cold Bone Show. I have with me Heather. She's here. We're tattooed mistress. Excuse me. I also have Foulmouth Bobbit, Trekopedia, Gina J, and Canadian Basement. How are y'all doing tonight?
Doing good, man.
Good. So
Good.
Oh my God! Not these. Jesus fucking Christ! Can't be serious. One fucking time. Can't be serious. But anyway, this is This Week in Wrestling. This used to be on Foulmouth Bobbitt's channel. We moved it over to here because we thought it would be a good thing to do over here. That's Wendy. Jesus Christ. So this format that we do here, I've got bullet points in front of me or talking points, and we just discuss. It's not really news. It is kind of a news-related thing, but we discuss about the stuff that's happened in the last couple of weeks and this week. So we'll talk about some stuff that happened last week, and we'll talk about some stuff that happened this week. I'm not going to go into. If you want to find out what happened on Raw and SmackDown, go watch my reviews over on the Cold Bone Show, because I'm really not going to talk too much about that. I mean, if it's something big, like if a match was made, we'll talk about it and we'll discuss it, even though we've discussed it already. So we won't go too deep into it. Let's start off. This week, Braun Strowman signed a new big contract with the WWE. He's not going anywhere. And I didn't expect that he would because, well, it's Braun Strowman. I don't know if AEW wanted to have anything to do with him, or Ring of Honor, or New Japan. I don't know. I know he re-signed a new deal. Well, they can't talk to him because he's still under his new deal. So his new deal will start once his old deal ends. What are you guys' thoughts on this?
I don't think Braun Strowman will ever go anywhere else.
No.
He's
I was
WWE
just going
guy
to say the
through
same
and
thing.
through.
Yeah, I don't see him going anywhere ever. Go ahead, Gina.
No, I agree. I completely agree. Like, I don't think that he's going to go anywhere. I mean, he's one of the top paid big guys in WWE. He's like their go-to whenever they need the big dude in the match. So why would he fucking leave?
Right.
Plus, he wrestles like a complete WWE style. He was basically born and bred in the WWE, from my understanding. Don't see him going anywhere else. I actually don't see I don't think he would actually work anywhere else in terms of like the character that they built for him.
Right.
He's just. I can never see him in AEW or in New Japan. Maybe Ring of Honor, but again, why would WWE let this guy go? He's a big draw for them, even if they treat him like Big Show 2.0.
Right. No, agreed. Bobbit?
I'm glad he signed a good. I'm glad he re-signed, and let's hope they actually do something with him.
Well, I guess it was a pretty big deal. It was a big deal. So maybe they will, maybe they won't. I don't know. Trek?
Yeah, I'm just hoping that this means he'll actually get, built up like a monster, and they can.
He's already built up like a monster.
Do with him, and I mean, build him up even more. I mean, push him a little bit more.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, but for people
I have a problem with that, actually. Like, the thing is with Braun Strowman, like, he's a difficult guy to push because his push has this caveat where if he becomes champion, becomes the guy, he's gonna be like, he almost has to become unbeatable. And then once he is beaten, it's a huge hit to his character and the development they do for it, which is why I think they've kind of been hesitant to push him to that major spotlight.
Right. I mean, they pushed him to face Brock Lesnar, but then he loses in like 5 fucking minutes. So they really have to build him up in order for me to believe that he's worthy of being a champion. I mean, look, we call him Brock Lesnar. I'm sorry. Big Show version 2.0. It's true because that's what Vince has always done with big men. He pushes them to the moon, and they can only go so far. They can only do so much, and then they're done. Because big men really don't pan out as far as wrestling ability and giving you that good match that you want. It's never going to happen. I mean, you can say that that's not true, but show me a really good match that Big Show was in or that Braun Strowman's been in, and I'll take back everything I said.
Or if that really good match was because they were in it. I mean, I like the idea
Yes.
of having guys of all sizes on the roster. It really helps diversify what you can do in ring. But for Braun Strowman, at least, I thought he should have stayed within a faction longer before they pulled him out of it, because he needed a good couple of years as like that enforcer look. And then they pulled him out, and it was a bit too soon, though he was progressing really fast in ring and is pretty good on the mic. His singles run has been lackluster, and it came too fast for me personally.
So moving on to the next thing, I watched NXT this past week. It was really good. I enjoyed it. But the match that I really enjoyed, that I thought, and Kushida and who did Kushida wrestle? This is why I didn't. It was a good match. Who?
Lance Archer.
Kushida wrestled Lance Archer.
Oh, not Kushida. I'm sorry.
Who did Kushida wrestle, Gina?
I don't remember.
Apollo Crews.
Apollo Crews.
Apollo Crews, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
But the match that I think had raised some eyebrows was this I can't think of his name, Bronson Reed and Dexter Lumis. My God, this Dexter Lumis, this is what Aleister Black should be, and they don't do it with him. He should be this ominous guy that he come out with the stone look on his face. I'm not stoned. This stone look on his face, like he's gonna hurt somebody, like really bad. And his in-ring ability is that good. I seen it. I think he's fantastic. I don't know if Bobbit, Trek have watched. I know Basement, you said you will watch it, but yeah, check him out. If you have not seen this guy, my God, is he fantastic. He did a flip over the rope. I mean, he did kind of take that step.
It was not a perfect landing.
It wasn't a perfect landing, but it's just, we're talking about a 240-pound guy. He did that flip like Ricochet. It blew me away. I didn't expect him to do it, and he did it. Blew me away. Bobbit, Trek, Gina stepped away. Did you guys happen to catch that?
No.
Not yet, man. I was working all day. I'm gonna check it out when I get home tomorrow.
I know he was trending in Twitter. People were trending. People were talking about him. So if you have not seen him, please go check him out. That guy, I think he has got it. If they do it right.
For like what you were talking about with Aleister Black, if they treat him, remember when Aleister Black was on NXT and it was almost like less is more for Aleister Black when he's on the mic?
Yes.
Though he can speak, I found when they gave him more reign to speak during his championship run in NXT, that hurt his character.
It did.
Unfortunately, just because he's kind of like I'm going to say The Undertaker, even though he's completely different than The Undertaker. It's when The Undertaker talks, he says like 2 sentences. It takes him 10 years to say it.
Yeah, I know.
But
right?
It's more important for the mystique of his character to be built than for him to be kind of seen as a regular dude.
Right. Jeannie, you watched.
They do that with this guy, Dexter Lumis. I haven't seen him yet, but if he's anything like Aleister Black, I hope they do that with him.
Yeah, he reminds me of Aleister Black and what they should have done.
He has
with
that
him.
super creep appeal.
Yeah, but Aleister Black didn't. I don't think Aleister Black had that super creep appeal to him.
He was more like the mysterious type.
This guy is mysteriously creepy.
Mm-hmm. At one point in time, he actually licked.
Yeah. This guy is Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed ended up winning. I think he should win it since he beat this Dexter Lumis. But this Dexter Lumis, check him out. I can't. They talked about him throughout the whole show. They didn't just his match is done. Now they moved on. They talked about Dexter Lumis. What's his name did? McGinnis.
Nigel?
Yeah. Nigel McGuinness talked. I keep forgetting his name. Next
By the
thing.
way,
Yes. Go ahead.
Fuck the end of this match. Sorry, that's all I'm gonna say. Just fuck the end of this match.
Okay. See, told you.
Okay.
So anyway,
Fuck.
we'll talk about it. We'll talk
Sorry.
about it. Just keep.
Sorry.
Sorry. Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole had a confrontation at the NXT event Wednesday, and apparently they're gonna be in a match at Takeover Toronto. They need to end this feud. I look, NXT does things better than what the main roster has been doing, but again, they are doing the exact same things, and this is what pisses me off when it comes to fans and whatever. They're doing this match again. How many fucking times do we need to see this match before it ends? Before this feud ends? I don't care to see this match anymore. I really don't. I do not care about this match. I mean, it's going to probably be a good match, but as far as storyline, I don't care. The wrestling with all the storylines, some of the wrestling's been okay, but it's been so overdone. It's like, okay, I know, okay, he's going to do this move here, then he's going to do this move, then he's going to do this move, then he's going to do this move, and the match is going to end. It's cookie cutter, formulaic, from spot to spot to spot to spot. NXT does it a little differently, but it's still the same thing.
But I also feel it has a lot to do with Johnny Gargano, like just being kind of in stalls since Tommaso Ciampa's injury.
Mhm.
Like
Yep.
it's unfortunate that those two guys are so linked that when one thing happens to one, the other has to basically play the waiting game for them
Right.
to come back.
Right.
And again, like you said, this feud, it just doesn't have the backing for me to care that much about
Right.
it, and it's unfortunately why I haven't been a huge fan of Adam Cole and his reign.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. It would have been better if Adam Cole had won it a long time ago.
Well, and not only that, I feel like if Adam Cole would have gone up against like a Matt Riddle, then I feel like a lot of people would have been a little bit more invested in it. It's not that I don't like Johnny Gargano, because I do. It's just when you start getting the same two people in matches over and over again, like you said, it turns very much into a like Tommaso Ciampa Gargano situation.
Yep.
Where by the end they had not ruined the feud, but kind of, because everybody was like, "Oh my God, this again."
Yep.
The
And
only
it
reason
got-
I didn't mind that with the Gargano and Ciampa thing is because there was a lot of build behind it, a lot of worth. Yeah, I know they have fought 1,000 million times. And you're right, the matches were kind of starting to become a bit formulaic in what they were doing because it's the same guys in ring, and they'd let them go for like 25 minutes each time. But they had storyline behind it, a more interesting storyline to me that was kind of friends turned foes, turned top face and heel of the company.
Yep.
So I could live with that, but with the Adam Cole Gargano, it doesn't have that weight.
Right. No, I can get behind that. Speaking of Matt Riddle, he was attacked by Killian Dane.
I liked this.
It was a good. It was. I enjoyed it. It surprised me because I thought they were going to move on to Matt Riddle versus Adam Cole, which I think ultimately what they're going to do is they're going to have Matt Riddle beat Adam Cole. Johnny Gargano should not win the title at this takeover. I'm sorry. I don't want to see it in. I don't want to see him have that. He's a better chaser than he is. He's just like Becky Lynch. I'd rather have him chase than get the title. Because once he gets the title, oh, well, there's the end of that story. But I think Matt Riddle is going to end up briefly taking the title off of Adam Cole getting called up to the main roster. I don't think Matt Riddle's too far behind because I know WWE probably wants Matt Riddle versus fucking Brock Lesnar. I don't know.
Well,
That would be the right thing to do.
I believe, I don't know if the Undisputed Era is going to get called up, but I know that AJ Styles actually tweeted at Adam Cole
Yeah.
with like a laughy face type thing. So I have a feeling that it's going to ultimately lead up to Undisputed versus the Club, which I'd totally be down with.
Can we?
But the thing
can we?
is, the
can-
Club needs to get another
Can we
player.
hold off on that until WrestleMania? Or do you
I
want
mean,
to?
I'm cool with them waiting for Survivor Series WrestleMania. That's a WrestleMania type match.
Feels like a Survivor
Sure.
Series match more than anything else.
Yeah, it'd be
Um,
a Survivor Series type match.
Survivor Series would make a lot of sense with like NXT versus kind of the main roster type thing going on. So I don't know. I could get behind it.
But the problem is it's two heel factions going against each other. So unless you're gonna turn fucking Adam Cole and those guys into faces, because I don't think they're gonna touch AJ. AJ just turned heel, and the rest, the other two have always been heel for the most part.
Right. But the thing is, I don't think that WWE is focusing so much on that anymore. Because if you look at like, okay, take like JP, I'm sorry, I'm gonna spoil something, but take Bailey versus Ember Moon. Those are two faces going up against each other just because they respect each other. So it could just be something similar to that.
You don't have heels respecting each other, though, I don't think.
No, not respecting each other, but you can definitely have a heel faction versus a heel faction.
You can.
They've done it before at Survivor Series.
But I don't know if they do it at Survivor Series. That's kind of, they got to have a build for it, because look, Adam Cole, his in-ring is good. I like his in-ring, but he's better on the mic, and he is a championship. They've got to build this guy up to be the champion. And he does need the Undisputed Era. I think ultimately he's going to get kicked out of the Undisputed Era after Survivor Series and a takeover. That's what I think they should do.
Survivor Series now normally has one like men's match that's the actual Survivor Series match, and one women's.
Yep.
I don't see Undisputed Era and fucking Bullet Club or whatever the fuck they're called.
The club, yeah. I don't see it either.
Actually fight. It just doesn't seem like it has enough to headline or even be close to it. They might headline with the women, but even then they'd put different people in that Survivor Series match with the men.
The Survivor Series is nothing but a glorified exhibition anyway. It's all it is. It's champion versus champion, and it's stupid. I just think it's dumb.
It's one of the worst. It's the worst of the big four.
Because it's supposed to be that one time that, and now we don't even fucking get that because the fucking wild card fucking rule. So Raw and SmackDown, they should do away with the brand split, but this is how they're doing away with it, by having a stupid wild card rule. So
yeah,
that's you're just gonna have to fucking deal with this wild card rule until they figure something out.
Well, from what I understand, or what I've heard anyway, both USA Network and Fox they both want like their own separate rosters, but the problem is they want the same people.
I mean, you want in one hand, shit in the other, you know? I mean, I get it.
Exactly.
I get it. If I was, what does WW do? Who paid the most money? What's the bigger network? Fox. They should get all the fucking stars.
Well, not only that, but you got to look at who's been supporting them for fucking years, which is USA.
I understand that, but they don't. Fox is bigger. It's a bigger network, so you put the bigger stars on Fox. I'm sorry. If they should have said, well, we'll move Raw to Fox. You know, but they didn't want to fucking do that, so deal with it.
Well, I feel like this is an opportunity for WWE to finally elevate SmackDown to almost be on the same level as Raw.
Right.
It's always been looked at as like the B of the two.
Yes.
Just mainly because it is the second child.
Yep.
And it's always been smaller in terms of scale of what they've done. So I would say, yeah, if they're moving to Fox, you know, it's probably gonna for that year, for next year, it'll probably be the show with the bigger stars on their roster.
Mm-hmm.
Now the roster's so huge that it's not really gonna impact WWE too much. Put Roman Reigns on fucking SmackDown.
Right. So sticking kind of with the Fox thing and NXT, apparently Fox wants NXT to go head-to-head with AEW on one of their Fox networks. And everybody, I wonder, I don't know if I just heard about it. Both Heather and I did. We were reading, which we do. We do a lot of. I hate reading, but we do read a lot of. And that's one of the things that popped for me. That Fox wants NXT to go head-to-head with AEW. They want them on one of their channels. So it'd be FS1, FS2, Fox. I do not know.
See, but that's all well and good, except for the fact that like WWE Network is going to take a huge hit, so to speak, if they remove NXT off the network, because NXT brings in a lot of people. Like that's a lot of the reason why a lot of people keep their network.
Okay, keep this in mind. They do record these shows. Either way.
And since it's not going to be put on a streaming service, it's going to be on Fox TV, they can put NXT on the network the next day.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, I at first thought that this was a bad idea, and then AEW came out. I'm like, actually, if WWE wants to see how they fare up against these guys, putting fucking NXT up against it, I think it would be a formidable opponent for AEW. I thought head to head.
I don't want them to go head to head though, because I don't want to be forced to choose.
You don't have to. Again, okay, so I'm gonna say this: you don't have to choose though. But you don't have to choose. You don't have to.
Because if they're in the same time bracket, how am I supposed to watch two different programs at the same time?
What did we just say? You can watch it.
Oh, on the network the next day.
On the network or wherever
we
you
don't
watch
know that yet. 100. We don't know anything.
We don't know that.
Speculation.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
I will say that putting NXT on regular television will probably, like, yes, it's recording, but then you're going to also have these commercial breaks that we kind of get on the network with network programming, but just multiply that by like 3 times.
They're probably going to make the show longer. I can almost guarantee you that.
It would need to be.
I have absolutely no problem with them putting it on Fox. It's just, if they don't put it on the network the next day or whatever, then I have a problem, because I do not want to be forced to have to choose between two shows that I like. That's not, like, I don't know. I just don't want to choose between. I love all wrestling.
Okay.
This is a way that they can get, they can fight AEW. Like, you want to crush the competition, not give them a chance, then air a similar product at the same time. They don't want to allow.
Well, okay, I'm going to say this. Then AEW, if they are not competition, they need to shut the fuck up about WWE. Period. Bottom fucking line. They keep talking about WWE. WWE will put fucking NXT head to head with them, and they probably will beat fucking AEW.
Right, but the problem is, you say that and I agree with you. AEW needs to stop talking about WWE. Well, WWE needs to stop throwing New Japan references in on everything.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you, Gina. I am not disagreeing with you.
Yeah, what are we supposed to do? Forget Nakamura and the club's past?
What?
What are we supposed to do? Forget where Nakamura and the club, including Finn Balor, came from?
But the thing is WWE's not throwing shade though at New Japan.
Not like AEW.
The AEW's throwing shade at WWE.
But here's my problem, okay? Because right now I feel as if I'm being as if I'm supposed to choose between WWE or AEW, which I know is AEW kind of influencing.
Imagine how I felt back in 1996-97. I had to choose. Yeah, I had to choose. Do I watch WCW or do I watch WWF?
Well, I will say that I agree with you in the respect that AEW needs to just stop worrying about WWE, because it's making their fans toxic.
Yep.
And I posted something about this on Twitter too. Like, the fans for AEW are beginning to become toxic, and they're starting to attack the fans of WWE. They're attacking fans of New Japan. That's not what this was supposed to be about. This was supposed to be about wrestling and just bringing more wrestling to people.
But the problem is, it is about wrestling because it's a wrestling company, but it will always also be about business.
Yeah. That's the
These are
thing that
companies
sucks.
that are built to make money, or
Yeah.
else they can't actually exist. And what does any other look at anything else in this world that's a company? They see something come up that they look at it and they're not saying, oh well, they're nothing now, we don't have to worry about them. Most of the time they're like, okay, well, if we can get rid of them before they become a problem, let's try.
Right.
Right, but I don't know.
I
get it.
get your
do.
I get your frustration because I had to deal with it growing up. Well, not growing up, but watching the Attitude Era and
I
all that
remember it
shit.
as well.
I mean, it's not even just having to choose. I feel like like a certain fan base they're already kind of, as Heather described them, rabid. So I feel like pinning NXT up against AEW is only going to further divide the wrestling fan base and make it worse.
I agree. I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that
Yeah.
if and I hate to say this, I've known WWE's thrown shade at AEW a couple of times, but AEW needs to stop worrying about what and throwing shade, and they are throwing shade. And you heard the Young Bucks do it. I've seen them do it. Kenny Omega's done it. Cody's done it. They've all done it. They need not do it.
Cody printed up a shirt. He spent money to print up a shirt that said Throne Breaker. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they need a little bit of just a tiny little bit of it. Both companies do, in the spirit of competition.
Yes.
But what they're doing is,
It's
I'm not
feeding the
gonna
frenzy.
lie. I'm not gonna lie. I liked when Cody friggin' broke the throne. Okay, I liked it because it was like pop, but it's going a little too far because then the fans start taking it a little too serious.
Yep.
Well, like I feel like AEW kind of seems like they want to have their cake and eat it too type deal, because they want all the good stuff that's gonna come with being, throwing pot shots or being passive aggressive, but they don't want any return from that.
Mm-hmm.
And when there is return, they get butthurt over it. It's just
Mhm.
like you saw Kenny Omega tweet out this, so but this is
Yeah.
for charity. They shouldn't try to do this and do that. It's like,
Yeah,
I
what he
understand what you're
evolved.
saying, but like, what the fuck does it matter? It's free
Yep.
to watch. People can choose whatever they want to watch.
Right. And I do get what you're saying, Gina. It's one of those things that I can't defend or say that they're wrong in wanting to do. It's ultimately WWE. It's a business. They want to make money. They want to have all the money. They want to run the show. That's what they're going to do. There's nothing we can do about it.
I just really like we were saying. I just really, really hope if they do that, I completely understand. But if they do that, I just really hope that it's accessible on the network
but
the day after or what.
Yeah, they put the Raws and the SmackDowns on there.
Mm-hmm.
So
how
it's
long
not.
after did they go up?
So, yeah. But either
The
way.
Raws and the SmackDowns, I think it's like a week later that they.
No, it's almost a month later, actually.
Yeah,
Almost
because that's
not
on
I have a
the
feeling it might go along those lines, because I doubt I doubt Fox is going to be okay with them saying, yeah, we'll just air it tomorrow on the network. A lot of people are probably just going to choose to not watch Fox, and then it's kind
That's true.
of loss in ratings for them.
Yep.
So it's probably going to be like a week delayed if we're lucky.
Yep.
If they end up doing this.
Yep. No, I get you.
Well, I mean, or even like Why Society just pointed out, they put Raw and SmackDown up on Hulu the next day. So if they would put NXT on Hulu the next day, I'd be perfectly fine.
Okay.
with it.
Yeah,
I think they do.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
All right. So that being said, moving on to the next thing. Let me see. We'll talk about that stuff in a second. WWE searching in Shanghai, China for new NXT talent. I didn't see this. What is this about,
It
Heather?
was on the WWE network itself, the website itself. They held basically a combine over in Shanghai, China to find new talent.
Okay.
That is awesome, and it's also an awesome step for them to combat AEW, because AEW, they work with OVW, you know,
Yep.
and those Chinese wrestlers is something that was one of the things that drew people in, because they've never really seen it. So that's a good move on their part.
I need a pen. Never mind.
I like the move. I like the move of trying to get talent from all over the world. The only problem I have is WWE has a very poor track record with trying to build up talent that can't speak.
Yep.
Even if they attach them
Yep.
to somebody else, it rarely works. It's
Yep.
just like look at how many failures they've had just in the last couple of years of the foreign talent that can't speak English.
Yep, that's the only problem. They need to be careful doing that.
That's one of the only
Go
reasons why I'm sorry, JP, go ahead.
No.
You were talking first, Gina.
You were talking first. Go ahead.
Oh, well, I was just going to say that's one of the only reasons why I think that Kushida actually stands a chance in WWE is simply because he does speak English a lot better than, say, like a Shinsuke Nakamura or Asuka or Kairi Sane.
Mm-hmm.
Io Shirai.
Io Shirai can speak English. She speaks.
She
Yeah.
has to go very slow though.
But I like her character. I'm gonna talk about that here in a minute, even though we probably talked about it before. But let's talk about that now. Let's go back to NXT just real quick, since we're still on NXT.
Yes, yeah.
What do you guys think of Io Shirai and her changing character?
turn.
I agree.
Have you seen
I
it?
mean, I
Base?
like the heel turn, but I also think she's the Asian talent, the women's Asian talent that is number one, and she will overtake the rest of them in terms of just because she's got that added touch. Where you guys said she can speak English pretty well.
She's. I mean,
She has to go slow.
she has to go slow, but she can speak it.
Asuka is a little better with her English, in my opinion.
Do you think Asuka's better with
I
her
think
English?
so, yes.
Well,
I
they
mean,
did
look
make
at,
her
like,
champ.
how old is Io Shirai?
28, 29?
Oh, she's young.
Yeah, I was
She's
going
young.
to say she's like mid to late 20s.
So she's got that prime spot in terms of age and a leg up with even being able to speak better than Asuka. Asuka is a bit older now, and though she's a solid talent, I think where she is where she'll stay in terms of main roster. Where Io Shirai, I think, could actually be probably one of the best pushed talent from China or Japan that they end up getting.
Right.
Well, the thing that hurt, I mean, I understand why they did it, because like they really didn't have anything for Asuka to do. Kairi Sane needed to be called up, but they didn't have anything for her. So I think it was a good move making them a tag team, but in the same sense, it's going to hurt them in the long run because they're going to be kind of stuck in that tag team mentality, and they're not going to really be able to shine as individual stars.
She is.
Kairi Sane is better. It would be better off in AEW or another promotion. In all honesty,
Yeah.
she's just her character is just too. It's for me it's a miss with like an audience over here.
Right.
A lot of what she pulls from is like Japanese or Chinese television, and like she's got this really over the top sailor gimmick.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
She's 30. But they can change her gimmick, I think. They could change her gimmick.
They're gonna have to.
Have to. But yeah, I just wanted to hit on Io Shirai because the way she did her, I loved her promo when she came out. I mean, it was awesome. That's all I can say. She came out and she goes, "I don't need anybody's help, and I don't need any of you." It took her a minute to do it, but she was speaking slowly. She dropped the mic and walked out. I loved it. Less is more. Less is more.
Mm-hmm.
In most cases, it's 100% true. Unless you've got like a whiz on the mic, less is more for pretty much 90% of the roster.
I mean, Enzo Amore was a whiz on the mic, but Jesus Christ, some of his promos lasted 15 minutes and I almost damn fell asleep.
He spent 15 minutes to literally say nothing. So.
I know, but I mean, when he
If they're gonna do
did,
something like- if they're gonna do something like a whiz on the mic, they need to find another Jim Cornette.
The Miz is good, but he can drag on at times too.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on, Shawn Michaels is guest commentating, from what I heard, on SmackDown. People are like, "Oh, let him take over." No, I personally don't want him taking over his commentary. I don't. Because they have Corey Graves. Why do they need Shawn Michaels?
Yeah, and I don't think that he's going to be taking over for commentary because he's down in NXT. I think he's just more or less guest.
I think it's just one of these things that they're getting ready for their 20th anniversary or something, and this is one of those things to build to it. So Shawn Michaels guest commentating on SmackDown. Everybody's like, "Oh, let him take over. Get rid of Byron Saxton." I think they should go back to 2 men because I hate 3 men. And Byron Saxton is a fucking buffoon.
And let's get real here. I mean, in all honesty, aside from marking out for the New Day, Byron Saxton really does not add much to that commentary team. It is mostly Corey Graves and what the fuck is
No, it's just mostly Corey Graves. Everybody
Michael
else can
Cole.
just fucking die.
Yeah.
He's the only
it's
good thing
mostly-
on commentary, realistically.
Well, I mean, Tom Phillips does, or as I like to call him, Michael Cole Jr., he does a lot of stuff, but I mean, Corey Graves, like you said, is the main one. So if you drop it down to those two, it'd be great.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, you basically need a heel and a face commentary team. But like Shawn Michaels, he'll be there for a flash in the pan just to promote the anniversary.
Yep.
And they'll link it to that. I also I've listened to Shawn Michaels on those when he's on the pre-show or whatever in that fucking booth segment that they have all the time. And I could take or leave him on as a commentary. As a commentator, he's not blowing anyone's fucking shorts off.
No.
I can't tell if he's looking at the camera or if he's looking at his co-host.
Always got one
And
eye
that's
on
not
surprise.
that's not a crack against the lazy eye because I myself have a lazy eye. It's just like
I call it Perry Saturn syndrome. One eye is looking at you, the other one's looking at the snack machine.
Exactly, and it's really hard. I mean, like I said, I have a lazy eye, so I'm not knocking on it, but it's really hard to concentrate on what he is saying when you have no idea who he's talking to.
Right.
Well, you won't really see him too much anyway, but at the same time, he doesn't come with anything that's not just. He usually just speaks very generic. Maybe if it was Shawn Michaels back before he found God, I could handle it. But now he's very father to me. I don't know.
Yeah, he is. He is. Go ahead.
No, sorry, nothing.
Okay. Bobbit, Trek.
You know, if they want to keep Byron Saxton, toss him backstage because you have two for Raw, 2 backstage interviewers with Sarah, I forget her last name, Sarah and Charlie Crusoe. You could have 2 with Caleb Braxton and him backstage. He could be backstage because then you don't have to see him all the time. They'll be fine.
No,
but to put him on commentary,
they can just get rid of Byron Saxton altogether.
Go back to
Just
2
take him out
men.
into the backyard, old Yeller style.
Yeah,
Put
then
one
just
piece out.
pull the fucking trigger, get it over with. Guy sucks. The guy's terrible. The guy is he's like a 2-year-old. He's a fucking
While
idiot.
they're at it, when they take him out to the pasture and shoot him, can they do the same with the blonde from Raw? Because I cannot stand her.
Renee Young.
No, yeah,
No,
well, her too, but the other one.
Sarah Shakes.
Yeah, that
Sarah
one.
shakes a lot?
Sarah Schreiber. Sarah, no, that's not her name. She's new.
She's okay. I've seen her in some other stuff. She's actually not bad.
She fucking sucks. I hate her.
I hate her. I can't. I'm sorry.
Well, it's because they get all these women from AfterBuzz TV, throw them on there, and expect them to know what they're talking about because they do an hour a week for for Raw, SmackDown, and the NXT reviews, and then they're so shocked when it doesn't translate. And but half the time on AfterBuzz they have a whole panel there, and it works better.
It's anytime the wrestlers need to play off the actual person interviewing them, it falls so flat because they're literally soulless. Even Charlie Russo's soulless. So she's back there, she just fucking holds the mic and smiles, and then has this one reaction for everything.
Yep.
Yeah, the only one that I've actually. I'm sorry, Chuck. Go ahead.
No, good.
Well, I was just gonna say the only one that I've seen that could actually pull off the bouncing back and forth was Renee Young when she was backstage.
Right.
Even they need to get her off the commentary table and put her backstage because I cannot fucking stand her. I cannot. Beth Phoenix, who blocked me for some reason, I think she's actually not too bad.
Beth Phoenix is she's good down at NXT. She knows what she's talking
She's
about. Straight point.
This is the thing. Your color commentators are supposed to be people that wrestle because they know what moves happen. Beth Phoenix can commentate on what just happened. Renee Young just sits there and goes, ooh, ah, ee. Oh my God, he's going to get it. Well, no shit, he's going to get it. They're in a fucking wrestling ring, you fucking buffoon. Come on.
Well, and another thing that I think that Beth Phoenix brings to the table is they can ask her, about certain situations,
Yes.
like what do you think that he's feeling going into this match? And Beth's been in these situations, so she can kind of talk about the feelings that these wrestlers are going into these matches, and it adds an extra layer to it.
If you're gonna have a 3-man team, one guy has to basically be the Michael Cole. Unfortunately, they're always gonna have to be that one guy that keeps it on topic, that's getting talked to in the ear, and kind of directs things. Then you're gonna have the heel in Corey Graves, and then you should really have the wrestling expert sitting next to them. Those are the three. If you're gonna have three, use it that way. Right now, Renee she comes out of nowhere with these dad jokes.
Yeah.
And they always fall flat, and she just gets made fun of, and eventually you're just like, I can't listen to you anymore.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I'm sorry to say it, but I think that Renee Young, the only reason why she is where she is in commentary is because Corey Graves is actually her best friend.
Well,
with backstage interviewing, it makes me wish Mean Gene was still around, because I'd love to have him at the Performance Center teaching people how to conduct fucking interviews. He was the best at it, and like now that he's gone, it's like so everything else like just falls flat.
I mean, Lord Alfred Hayes was pretty good.
Oh yeah, but I mean like
Mean Gene's just really well known. George Marshall was, in my opinion, was the best at backstage interviews. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
I love Mean Gene.
I love Mean Gene too, but I think Marshall was better. Moving on, Roman Reigns won Moment of the Year for the WWE Moment of the Year at the 2019 ESPY Awards. Deserved. I don't care what anybody fucking says. And you're going to get those fucking stands. We're going to talk about them motherfuckers again. I am so fucking sick and goddamn tired of these fucking people. And I know Basement says, why do you even argue with these people? Because it passes my day. But these fucking people, they're so mind-numbing that it's like talking to a 2-year-old. They probably are 2-year-olds, but in fact, I told one of them today, talking about Alexa Bliss, and somebody said, well, do you wrestle? In high school, I did. Fucking point. And I'm not a girl, because I said Alexa Bliss sucks. Everybody can see, if I'm not entertained by something, I will let you know. They asked my opinion, I fucking gave it, and then they argued with me all fucking day about it. It's like, why? You asked my opinion, I gave it. Why are you telling me I'm wrong? Stupid. But back to the Roman Reigns thing. This guy has twice now, and I think he has the type of cancer that. Explain this and tell me if I'm wrong.
It's, I think
he has the one that can recur, that will recur. You can't get rid of it, but it is manageable, right?
Yeah, it's in his blood. It's something that's in his blood.
Right. So
not just like family members, but I mean it's literally in his blood.
Right. So for people to sit there and say it was a fucking work, you're a fucking idiot. Because I can buy him coming back, because when he first came back, he still looked tired. He looked jaundiced. See, he still somewhat looks like he's still recovering from it. He'll never fully recover from this. He'll always have it. But for him to come back and for people to shit on that, shame on you for shitting on this guy. Yes, we got sick and tired of him being pushed. I said it. Basement said it. Gina said it. Trek has said it. Bobbitt finally seen it. Heather's seen it. Almost everybody said it. The problem is, this is Joe Anoa'i. This is not Roman Reigns, the guy that was shoved down our throat for 2, 3, 4 years and main eventing 4 years in a row. Dumbasses. This is Joe Anoa'i. And for him to come back from that, I applaud. If I was there, I would have marked the fuck out if he would have won. Becky Lynch did not deserve that win. And it wasn't Becky Lynch isn't the fucking reason why she was even there. Ronda Rousey is the reason why Becky Lynch was sitting at the fucking ESPYs. Come at me.
I will say
love
this.
how angry he is.
I will say this for the Roman Reigns thing. I agree with pretty much everything you're saying, but I understood why certain people had skepticism about it because WWE has gone to some terrible places before in terms of like booking.
I can agree.
But to like then kind of be told this is real, we're not fucking joking around or this is not work. And then to continually go, and even to this day say, yeah, no, he never had cancer. Like it's like you just want to be an asshole at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Agreed.
You know, the thing is, it's like not only could you tell by the conviction of his voice when he was saying, you know, I have cancer, I have to leave, you know, but you had like proof, like that he was uploading to Twitter every so often about his recovery, and there was videos of him getting these treatments and all this other stuff. So like it's like, come on, guys. I mean, fucking get real.
Yeah.
Just
I
stop.
mean, you even had the Shield after he made the announcement. Look at Seth Rollins' face. He was in shock and he was crying. I'm like, that's not acting, folks. I'm sorry. And for these people to say it was so they could sell new T-shirts and stuff, bullshit.
But what a horrible PR move if they actually were to do that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
It makes no sense PR-wise.
No.
This day and age, and yeah, they're kind of numb and stupid to certain things, WWE is, but this, when you have a backer and Susan G. Coleman and all this like Make-A-Wish shit that you do and Connor's Cure, to have that angle would be PR suicide, really.
Yeah, it would be detrimental to the company. That's why I knew immediately when he came out that this was not fake, because they would be fucking stupid with all of the like cancer research and stuff that they are tied to have that be a storyline.
Yep, and Heather just said it. If they would have done that, Connor's Cure probably would have been
shut down because that's a WWE created fucking charity.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it'd be stupid for WWE that created this Connor's Cure to fucking have Roman Reigns come out and then it be a fucking work. It makes no sense. Absolutely.
And that was my immediate
zero.
thought process
Right.
when then that segment aired. I'm like, could it be a work? No, because if it is, they're literally shooting themselves in the head.
Yep.
And
I mean, they have shot themselves in the head numerous times, but for a situation like this,
that's too big of a bullet.
Too real for them to fucking do it. I'm gonna move on because there's one thing that I want to talk about that is WWE fucking today that just fucking drove me up the fucking wall. We'll go into some AEW stuff, and I only have a couple of things. I know I got CM Punk here, but that's not a fucking AEW thing. He's not coming back to wrestle ever.
No.
Ever. I hate him anyway. I don't care.
Me too.
No.
I don't care.
I mean, I don't know why people want him back because he wasn't. I'm sorry. CM Punk stands.
He was not the best in the world.
Say what you want, but the dude was not that good. The only thing that made him was the pipe bomb, and the only reason the pipe bomb existed was because WWE told him that he could fucking do it. He stole his fucking finishing move from another wrestler, so just fucking move on past him.
Yep.
I will say this with CM Punk, he was far above average on the mic, but I think his head was so fucking massive that I'm surprised his fucking neck could hold it up. The guy was super ego. Thought he was the center of the world, and you can't be like that in that company. You have to learn to take back seat. And I think after a while, his loss for passion of wrestling coincided with him not getting what he thought he deserved, which eventually ended up with him walking away. I will say he was decent in the ring, really good on the mic, and would have been a good asset if he stayed. But his decision to leave was his decision to leave, and he said it out. I didn't have the passion to wrestle anymore, so let it go.
Right. Yep. Now he is going to be at StarCast. That's what the news is on CM Punk. He did
for autograph signings.
Just for autograph signings, even though All Out is there. No, he's not going to come out and fucking do a promo. If he does, he's not going to fucking wrestle. All right. So just put a fucking stop to that.
I'm sorry, but even if he did go to AEW, I feel like it would be a detrimental mistake on AEW's behalf to sign him.
He's a piece of shit.
Because there's
No, I shouldn't say he's a piece of shit, but he's terrible in the ring.
basically, CM Punk sat there and sued the WWE for health issues
Yes.
and poor treatment by the doctors. AEW is allowing unprotected chair shots. I don't care if the chair is gimmicked or not. It's an unprotected chair shot.
Yeah. Where are you going with this? Go ahead.
Basically, he would be a liability for them. Because if he got hurt,
Well,
first thing he would do if he wasn't properly taken care of, I'm suing your ass.
Sure.
Well, and not only that, but he's pretty sue-happy to begin with. I mean, he's suing Colt Cabana, he's suing WWE. You know, I mean, I honestly don't know what the fuck
Well,
happened
Colt
between him
Cabana
and
sued
Cabana,
him. Yeah, Colt Cabana sued him, so he countersued him. That's what happened with that.
Right.
Gina, you'll probably like this. I thought this was a good move. There's actually a little video out of it. MJF signs an extension. It's now a multi-year deal.
I think they said it was like a
That's a
3-year extension.
great move on their behalf because
But if you-
MJF, he's young and he's gonna become a great heel.
He is the future. He is the future. I love him. I think he's the best, one of the best heels. He is nowhere near
The best.
but he is getting there. Give him
He's
time.
like, for me, he's like the Miz if the Miz could wrestle.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he signed an extension, and that whatever they had him on, the deal, it must not have been a multi-year deal. It must have been 1 year. They converted it to a multi-year deal. So he's going to be with AEW for a few years. Didn't say how long, but he did sign the contract today. And if you haven't watched the video, it's actually kind of funny. Because he's in a fucking laundry room or something. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
He signs a contract on a fucking washer.
That's fun.
Yeah. Tully Blanchard becomes an advisor for Shawn Spears. I don't know if this is just for her storyline or whatever, but okay. Tully Blanchard is essentially Paul Heyman for Shawn Spears.
And he is a former Four Horseman. I think
he's not a former world champion. Go
I
ahead.
kind of really like this move because it's not that Shawn Spears can't deliver on his promos himself, but I feel like he was tied Dillinger for so long that
he needs something
it's
to
gonna
break
help.
him.
Exactly, and not only that, but as soon as we've all heard Ty Dillon or whatever his name is, Shawn Spears. We've all heard his voice, okay, and he doesn't have that conviction of the heel. He does in the facial gestures and his movement and all that, but the voice itself, he doesn't have conviction. So I think putting a voice on him is going to be a really good move for turning him into the heel that the company wants him to be.
I'd like to see exactly what he has, because though we've seen him a lot in WWE as Ty Dillinger, I always liked him, but he never looked like a main event type of dude to me, in ring or outside of ring. He's serviceable, don't get me wrong. It's just I can't remember a great Ty Dillinger match.
Yeah, me neither. His entrance is what got me.
Yeah, his gimmick was more over than anything, I think.
Yep. Totally agree.
But I'm interested to see what AEW does with him, is all I'm saying. And
Right.
I guess it's a good move to pair him with somebody that can maybe get him over in the ways he can't get himself over.
Moving on, I know Gina. Oh, and Trek. It wasn't Randy Savage's fucking elbow that CM Punk stole.
It was to go to sleep.
It was the go to sleep from Hideo
No, but he
Itami.
stole it.
But
He said it in
what's
his
there's
repertoire,
nothing
though.
wrong.
Even
But
Steve said it.
okay, so we can't. Bailey.
Velveteen
Bailey
Dream.
admits that he was.
But Bailey stole
Bailey
his
admits that
fucking.
he
Then
was
you can
the
say
first.
Bailey. But Trek. Then you can say Bailey stole his elbow drop.
And she
But
goes for the
well,
whole
maybe-
outfit.
Say it again,
But
Trek.
even- I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Heather.
No, you go.
Bailey admits that she was a fan of his. That's why she does it.
Well, how
CM
do you
Punk
know
is-
that CM Punk wasn't though? How can you say that though? How do you know CM Punk wasn't though?
I actually heard CM Punk got the blessing to use the move from Kenta.
Well,
No,
he did.
it was
He
like
did.
Randy
Hold
Savage.
on. No, hold on.
Jesus
The
fucking
the
Christ.
thing is with the go to sleep, he did. Kenta gave them the blessing to use it. But what makes me upset about that is when Kenta went to WWE, he was told that he couldn't use his own move because it was CM Punk's move now.
He could use it. He used it.
In NXT, he used it, but when he came up to the main roster after
His arms broke
busted,
off.
No, he busted somebody's freaking eye socket. I can't remember who it was.
Wasn't it
After
Austin
that, he was
Aries?
told-
Yes.
I'm sorry?
It was Austin Aries.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then after that, he was told that he couldn't use his own finisher, which to me was a little fucked up because it was actually Austin Aries' fault that his eye socket got broke
Well,
because he
well,
didn't do the move right.
I
I will say
understand
this,
that,
though, I think the
but
whole argument-
but that wasn't WWE at the time was going through that concussion bullshit. So
Yeah.
for them to put a stop to it, I understand. This is one of those things. Okay, well, we just won't do it because it's causing injuries to people. I guess
Right.
I don't.
will say that
No, damn. I'm sorry, Basement. Go ahead.
the whole argument about he stole this guy's move, this guy's move,
That's
like
stupid.
everybody's
It
using
is.
each other's moves in the end.
Yeah.
We've seen everybody do everything, and just because you might have started doing this move doesn't mean you own the fucking rights to that move entirely. So if somebody else wants to do it, somebody else wants to do it. If the company that you're working for says most of our fan base knows this as CM Punk's finisher, we don't want any relation to CM Punk, so we don't want you to do it because it could trigger the fans just being every time he comes out and does it, they're going to cheer CM Punk.
Right.
So if they make that decision, that's fine, but blaming somebody for using somebody else's move, I mean, then no move can be used ever.
That's
let's be
like-
honest.
That's
and
like.
you know what? I'm
Okay,
sorry,
okay.
Heather, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You first.
Well, I was just gonna say, it was never an issue of like Kenta being upset that they used his move or anything. He was upset that he wasn't allowed to use his finisher move anymore. But you know damn well that if CM Punk would have came back, then they would have allowed him to hit the go to sleep on somebody.
Okay, that's on WWE.
Well,
And
look,
that's
I
also
mean, the only person allowed to do a fucking pile driver is the Undertaker.
Yeah.
So if it's iconic to the character using it, and the character is iconic themselves, then they're gonna go with it. I mean, he's done it a million times. It's gonna be safe. If it goes wrong, it's an accident. A DDT could go wrong and paralyze.
We have to remember who we're talking about here too. We're talking about WWE. They don't, and Vince. He don't look outside of WWE. He thinks that the only wrestling world is WWE. So Kenta may know how to use the go to sleep. He may have invented it, but Vince don't give a shit if you invented wrestling. If it's WWE, we invented it. Honestly, I think that's his philosophy. Like, it's stupid, but yeah. That's my thinking on it. Now, Trek, what were you gonna? You said something about Savage again. Go ahead and say it.
It wasn't just the elbow. If you look at his tights and everything that was run, he used the text, he used the tights, he used the stars, he used everything. Wholesale ripped off Randy Savage. John Cena brought it up.
Okay,
And it's
so did
really off
Bailey.
because
Trek.
He didn't do a damn good job of it.
Trek. Bailey stole fucking Randy Savage's gimmick.
No, she admitted.
Bullshit.
that she
Well,
was
still, but you can't say that.
Why are we fighting?
We're not.
Well,
I'm
maybe
trying to
CM
get
Punk-
him.
the thing is, maybe CM Punk looked up to Savage as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm
In the
saying.
end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Sasha Banks wears Eddie Guerrero's clothes, so if you look up to somebody and you incorporate it in your look, that's fine. I would never, from my point of view, I would never look at CM Punk and think Randy Savage.
No, me neither.
No.
It's just that the two don't link together for me. So
Not
I
even
can
close.
understand kind of where you're coming from, but at the same time, I will say people play homage to somebody all the goddamn time in wrestling.
Sasha Banks. She
Like,
pays homage to Eddie Guerrero.
That's
Exactly.
Five-Star Frog Splash.
No, I know what you mean. It just irritated me that he did it and stuff. And like all these people like still chant his name. It's like he walked out on everyone. Why would
Yeah,
you want
that's
to
a good
respect someone like that and say like?
But again,
He
Trek,
walked
that's the
2 minutes.
fan's choice to chant his name. You can't be upset with that. It's their
Well,
choice.
and not
I think the fans chanting his name are fucking stupid, but
Yeah.
Well, but the thing is, if you notice, the only time that CM Punk chants, because I mean, originally it was whenever they were in Chicago, CM Punk chants started, which is understandable because
He lives
he's from
there.
Chicago. But after a
From
while,
lives in
now
Milwaukee.
whenever CM Punk chants start, it's usually when the fans are bored.
Yeah, to show disinterest, and I
Yeah.
prefer them chanting CM Punk than boring. Boring is kind of distasteful to the people in the ring.
Yes.
Exactly.
But
Not
again, the
as bad
fans
as
can
what?
chant whatever they want.
This true.
Mhm.
What, Trek?
I mean, it's just, not as bad as the what chant, which needs to go away. They still use that from time to time.
Whatever. Fans can do whatever the fuck they want.
Again, that's when they're bored.
Yeah. Gina, you actually brought up something before we got on the show, and then we'll get into New Japan because I know you want to talk about fucking G1 real quick.
Yay! Yes.
Tessa Blanchard, and who? Go ahead.
I looked it up, and from what I can see, I think it was what's her name? Johnny Impact.
Valkyrie?
Taya Valkyrie.
Taya, there we go. I believe it was her.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they were both the fans from AAA in Mexico attempted to grope them the way that they did Scarlett Bordeaux. But of course, Tessa and whatever the other one's name is, because I can't pronounce it. Taya, thank you. Of course, they literally they pretty much beat the shit out of the fans. Like they didn't get the chance to grab them, but they were trying to grope them.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to talk about this just simply because I feel that if it's dangerous for female wrestlers to be in Mexico right now and at these events, and if the fans can't understand that this is a different type of wrestling, like we do not allow groping and stuff like that. If they can't get that through, then I don't think that the female wrestlers should be going down there anymore.
I'll say one thing: I don't believe the original thing was even a grope. I watched it several times. It didn't look sexual in nature.
Are you kidding me? He was trying to
regardless-
grab her boobs.
He
Looked like
basically
he was trying to
bear
go
hugged her
lower
from
than that.
behind. He basically bear hugged her from behind. Regardless, fans shouldn't be touching wrestlers.
Period.
It doesn't matter. They're not supposed to be involved in the action. And if
Not
somebody
like that
wants
anyway.
to hug someone like that, then turn around and punch them in the face. You have in my mind, it should be all rights reserved for them to just haul off and smack the fucking guy right in the face.
I agree.
And yeah,
I don't think it was a personally.
well, that is my view as well. Maybe it wasn't meant to be a grope. Maybe it was meant to be a hug. But either way around, it's her right to
Not
accept
have
or
somebody
deny.
she doesn't trust or know touching her?
Exactly. It's up to her whether she wants to be touched or not. So for somebody to grab her from behind like that and hold her like the way that they were, because she you could tell she got scared because they wouldn't let her go. Okay, and then you see that, but then with Tessa, I don't know what the fuck they were trying to, what they were thinking trying to grab her, because she will beat them down right then and there. But it's just it's a case of, is it safe for the female wrestlers to go to AAA right now?
But I mean, look at what's happened in the past with male wrestlers, and you've had people run in the ring and fucking try to attack them.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is just as bad, and in the end, it didn't mean that whole area was blacklisted. I think that's almost like an unfair reaction to the actual fan base that exists there. If anything, they just need to say, this is going to be a women's match. We need to actually get security everywhere around the ring.
Or have male wrestlers come down as the women's valets.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like, I mean, not even necessarily are they allowed there, but just what precautions can AAA be taking to kind of protect these female wrestlers from just not being touched when they want to be touched? Because obviously Scarlett Bordeaux got scared. I don't know. We only seen a small video of what happened, but she's actually spoken out about, like, she was scared.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't know what all took place, what was being yelled at her, blah, 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 whatever. But AAA needs to take some sort of steps towards protecting these female wrestlers. Otherwise, the female wrestlers shouldn't go there for now. That's my opinion.
Okay.
That's a good point.
I mean,
They have to basically set an example of what happens to somebody that does that, and that'll only happen if they have security in place. And there's got to be something written on the ticket, or when you choose to buy a ticket to go there that says "Do not interact with the wrestlers like that," and if you do, you have waived your right to not be beaten the fuck up.
Or be ejected from the arena.
Oh, hey, no. I have a better idea.
Oh my
I have
God.
a better idea. All right, hear me out.
Hurry it up.
Okay. Will you shut up a second? Put up. Okay, on the railing, have like the hockey fencing. You know hockey that's got that clear like plastic shit around the arena. Like strap that to the top of the arena, and then nobody won't touch anybody.
Well, I get
But then
that,
you make
Bob,
it
but,
difficult
like,
to go into the crowd to fight. Like it ruins an aspect of wrestling that is important. Like crowd interaction is important. It's just you can't, like, people should understand where boundaries exist. Almost every, I'm gonna say 95% of the population get it.
yeah,
But the
and
small
not only
percentage that don't, they need to be
I
taught
mean,
lessons.
not only that, but a lot of times you see like the female wrestlers, they're like, they have no problem shaking people's hands, giving high fives, even giving hugs if they're facing the person to see who is grabbing at them. It's just a case of inappropriate touching.
Yep.
I've seen
No,
it
I
happen
get you.
with the male wrestlers too, like today's day and age as well, because they go out and they fight on the side, and then there's some people just like pat them, which is fine. But there was somebody that was like holding on to someone not too long ago. I can't remember where it was, but it was in WWE, and it was less than a year ago probably. But it happens with the men and the women. It's just
Yeah.
having something in place to stop it from happening, and then having the judgment harsh enough so that people realize, though I might want to hug this person, if I do, I'm out of this building immediately.
Yep.
Well,
Nope.
when I went to a couple of wrestling events back in the Attitude Era, they even used to get on the microphone before they went on TV and say, "You are not allowed to touch wrestlers. If you get too physical, you get a warning. If you get even more physical, you will be kicked out." I don't know why they don't do that anymore. If they're afraid of lawsuits or something like that, I don't know. But so it's like, but also you got to remember, some of those people are drinking a lot and they don't exactly remember the rules when they're fucking drunk off their ass.
Then they shouldn't be allowed to drink down on the fucking front rows.
No, I agree.
And not only that, but like Mexico's a whole different story than the United States,
Yeah.
and there's women aren't looked at in Mexico the way that they are here,
No, I
which
know.
is why I think that it is incredibly adamant that they set those ground rules.
I agree. I am not disagreeing. If you notice, I haven't said one word. I agree with everything you just said.
Yeah.
Eliminate women's wrestling. That's what we need to do. I'm so kidding. I am so kidding. I actually love women's wrestling. I don't like the intergender stuff because it's not believable to me unless you have a woman like Nyla Rose or Nia Jax that can actually fight with a guy. But then you've seen the fucking SJWs. Oh my God, did you see what that guy did to fucking Nia Jax? He fucking RKO'd her. We can't have that. This is why you'll never have ultimate. But they did it. But I'm waiting for the SJWs to shit all over. And I've seen a couple of it. I've seen a little bit of it when Becky Lynch got fucking end of days. People
Which
were like, oh
was
my
the
God,
moment
look,
of
they
the
can't be
night.
doing that. That's Becky Lynch. She wants to
That was
fucking
the
fight with
moment
the
of the damn
guys.
night.
She wants to fucking fight with the guys. Goddamn, fucking slap the fuck out of her. I don't care. That's all I'm saying. But
I
anyway.
agree. I completely agree. There should not be a double standard. Like, if you want to get out there and you want to put your hands on a guy, then they should be allowed to do the end of days to you.
But I don't want intergender wrestling to become a thing, and I know that there are wrestlers out there that love it. And I'm talking about the women, like Jordan Grace. She's one of those people. I'm like, well, you should be able to fight other. You're almost as big as some, and muscular. I'm not talking because she looks like a heavy set woman. That woman fucking works the fuck out.
She's a weight.
She is all muscle.
She
That's
is
her.
all fucking muscle. So she could probably fight some of the men. She's not as agile as some of them, but she could fight some of them.
Like, I mean, even like Candice Larae. Candice Larae, before she came to WWE, she was paired with Joey Ryan, and they did intergender matches all the time. But the difference is Candice LeRae, like, she is very versatile.
Mm-hmm.
And she's able to do, like, high-flying moves and stuff, like, on the wrestlers that a lot of other women wouldn't be able to do.
I don't mind when there's interaction between men and women in the ring. I'm not a fan of a match that's actually man versus woman or man like a tag, intergender tag, anything like that. But if you have someone jump off the top rope with a crossbody and hits a couple men or whatever, that to me is okay when it's used seldomly. I just don't like the idea because all it means to me is if we're gonna have men and women fighting each other, I have to suspend disbelief a lot more because I don't want to see Braun Strowman versus fucking Sasha Banks.
Right.
There's zero chance that she's gonna be able to do anything realistically. And if they do the intergender tag shit, it's just gonna create another fucking title. Intergender tag team champions. You can't wait for that.
Right. I agree. Okay, so we can go on to the next thing, which is New Japan. Gina, the floor is yours. The only reason the floor is yours is because I have not watched any of it. I'm sorry.
G1 amazing so far, JP. You're missing out, man.
Well, okay, I'll just quit work and start watching New Japan.
You totally should.
Oh!
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No,
okay, I just finished up watching Day 6
Mm-hmm.
just now, and the matches have just been unbelievable so far, especially the A block. You guys seen how stacked the A block was with people like Kenta, Okada, fucking Will Ospreay, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
But all I can say is watch fucking G1.
Okay. So
it has been. I've watched some of it. I will say, and it has been. I mean, it's what I kind of expect from New Japan Wrestling anyway, just because their in-ring is so good all the time. If you're yearning for wrestling and you get tired of the kind of the formula that WWE presents, watch New Japan. New Japan has its own formula, but if you don't watch every show they do, you won't really catch on to that formula. So it's a bit new. It's a breath of fresh air. Ospreay versus Ibushi was a great match. I will say it's fucking hard hitting as hell. That match should have ended with both those men going to the hospital and never coming out.
Especially with Will Ospreay being injured.
Yeah, I have my it's a great match. It's not without gripes, but it is a good match, and it's a fresh air. It's a breath of fresh air compared to the same old we get in WWE. If you like NXT, then you'll like New Japan.
Well, and I
Yes.
like Ishii versus Moxley today. Great match. They pulled out a table, which I didn't like because every single match Moxley has had, he's undefeated in G1 so far, and it's all because he pulls out a fucking table. The match was great without the table. They didn't need it. But of course,
no, Gina,
John Moxley.
Gina, they did need it because John Moxley is there. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
that's what
cannot
I was just
fucking.
gonna say, with it being John Moxley, of course the fucking table has to come out because apparently he can't do anything else other than hardcore. But I mean that match is great. There's been just so many good matches so far. I don't know if you guys want.
I gotta watch it. I don't want to skip tag team matches because I don't really care about them.
Then do exactly that. That's how I've been. That's how I've been going with it, man. Like
I'm
you'll
more
miss
worried
spots
because
in
the
tag
G1
matches.
itself, and I know, I've said it to other people. These tag team matches build to the match that they're, because ultimately, like Okada and whoever tags and they face Naito versus or Naito and some other guy.
That's
Ultimately, the next fucking night or whatever, Okada and Naito will be wrestling. But I could skip those and.
Well, there has been really good tag matches. I understand for people that don't have the time that if you want to skip the tag matches, but there has been some pretty damn good tag matches going on throughout this tournament. But their tag matches is always good because they always have a purpose.
And that's the thing. There's a reason why they're having these matches. They don't just have a match to have a match, like in WWE. There's a reason for these matches, and you can get these fucking stands, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit. Okay, we'll come back to it, Bob. I ain't done yet. I forgot. I hate that when fucking people do that to me.
You were talking about New Japan tag matches and how they have purpose leading into the match.
Right. They don't just have a match to have a match. Okay? Like in WWE. And that's the difference between New Japan Plus, New Japan is my kind of format. It's about wrestling.
Same.
It's not about the fucking promos in the match, which we're going to talk about with these fucking stands people. Trust me. You're going to hear a fucking... You thought I ranted before. Motherfuckers. Thinking you know more than me. Shut the fuck up. Been watching this shit before you were even a thought in your fucking dad's eyes.
I mean, I will say with the G1, so far Okada and Kenta are both undefeated in the A block. I honestly think it's going to come down to those two
Mm-hmm.
on who wins the A block, and then I think it's going to come down to Kenta winning the A block.
Okay.
B block, the only person that remains undefeated is Moxley. So I'm really not too sure who he's going to end up against. But ultimately, I think Kenta is taking this tournament, and it's going to end up being Kenta versus Okada for the title at Wrestle Kingdom.
Interesting.
I mean, Kenta is good, but he's not for me. There's a lot of better talent in my mind than him. I've only seen some of his New Japan stuff, but I know they watered him down in WWE. I just don't like it. His stature doesn't, like, nothing he's got going on for him look wise works for me. His in-ring is decent. And I know he's heralded as like this maverick in ring, and a lot of people want to use it. Like he's come up with a lot of moves, and he executes them perfectly. It's just I've seen because I think his moveset was so popular and so many people use it, and I've seen them probably use it before I saw him use it. He just seems like more of the same I've seen before.
I will say that, like, Kenta in New Japan is a completely different beast than what he was in WWE. And he reminds me a lot of Shibata. Now, I know that they're best friends, which is maybe why he reminds me so much of him.
Well, he brought him into New Japan.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I mean, he's just a completely different beast. If you haven't seen his matches, then just go check him out. Like Basement said, maybe it's not for you, but I like it. I
like Kenta.
His striking ability is ridiculous.
It's not the Shinsuke Nakamura. It's not Kota Ibushi. Kota Ibushi, he beat Kota Ibushi. I still think Kota Ibushi's a better striker than he is. That's just
Kota's problem was that if I remember correctly, when he beat Kota Ibushi, what night was that?
That was the first night.
Was that the first night?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Kota actually injured his ankle that night, and I think that's the only reason why Kenta was able to outstrike Ibushi.
Yep. Oh, I gotcha. Yep. Anything else, Gina? I will catch up. I will catch up. I promise.
Do you want the standings right now? Or...
Sure. Yeah. You go ahead and give the standings.
All right. So far, in the A block, tied at 2-4-6. Each is Okada and Kenta. We've got Archer with 4. Bad Luck Fale, Sonata, Will Ospreay, Kota Ibushi, and Tanahashi all have 2. Evil, believe it or not, is at 4, and Zack Sabre Jr. is rounding up last with 0. Fuck you guys.
I love it. I love it.
B block, we have leading the pack is Jon Moxley with 6. And then we have, let's see here, Ishii, Juice Robinson, Yano, believe it or not, and Shingo with 4. And then standing at 2 is Goto, Cobb, and Taichi and Naito are all in the bottom of the rank.
Okay. Nice. And you say Kenta and who is going to win?
I say that it's going to ultimately come down to Kenta versus Okada for the A block, and Kenta's going to win that one for the A block. And then I think, God, I fucking hate to say this, but I think that Jon Moxley might take the B block.
Does he have? I still think Naito's winning. Watch.
You know what though? Like, the only reason I say I think it's going to come down to Kenta versus Jon Moxley is it's a way to capitalize on 2 former WWE wrestlers.
I don't know if I don't know. I mean,
I feel
okay.
like pushing Moxley is like a mistake for
It's
a company that's
big
not
time
actually going
mistake.
to use him.
They're
Very
push-
like after this.
The only reason they're pushing him is because of who he is.
But that's why I ultimately think that Moxley's going to win the B block, and then he's going to go up against Kenta, and Kenta is going to beat him, which is going to make Moxley kind of go away from New Japan
But
for a while.
he needs to go away from Japan completely, from what I heard.
I completely agree.
He's not a New Japan guy. He would fit in better in America. Sorry, I don't care what anybody says. All you fucking Moxley fans can fuck off too.
He pulls his punches and his knees and his kicks. He pulls all of his moves. It's typical.
In New Japan, they don't play that. Minoru Suzuki
He looks
wants
like he
his
doesn't
ass.
hurt anybody.
No,
It
Minoru.
looks like any of his moveset can actually hurt somebody, and he's so loose with his moves. Like he looks like a very shitty wrestler.
Yeah.
And that's probably because he is.
Right.
But you throw tacks on the ground or glass, and the guy will roll around in it. So that's his selling point.
Yep. Anything else, Gina?
No.
Okay.
I think that's it.
Okay. And that ends at the end of the month, I think. Isn't the finals isn't it like the first week in August though?
I think it's like the first or the second week in August.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, so I'm not always gonna rant like this, but I'm gonna be the first to do this. I used to do this over on Bobbitt's channel where we pick a topic and we're gonna talk. I'm gonna rant on it, and you guys can do the same thing. All you have to do is just find a topic you want to rant about. And if you want to rant about this, because I know some of you want to rant about this. First question that I'm gonna ask you, and we're gonna go back to WWE here. We're going to bookend it with WWE. There's Smackville happening on the network on the 31st of August? Or September? Or July? Sorry.
It's just before
July.
SummerSlam.
Anyway.
I think it's July 28th or something like that.
Okay. Anyway, Kofi Kingston is going to be defending the title in a triple threat against Dolph and Samoa Joe.
Mm-hmm.
My next question is, and I don't really care. That's just a little piece of news that came out. I don't know what the rest of the card on Smackville is. When it comes out, we'll look at it, but I don't care about it because it's not really a pay-per-view. It's a house show. They said it even themselves is a house show. What do you think of Kofi Kingston's title run? This question was posted on Twitter today. Go ahead.
I mean, I've liked his title run, but there's something that feels a little forced behind it, if that makes sense, because
Mhm.
it's as if WWE Kofi Kingston is their golden boy on SmackDown right now, and they're kind of just forcing him to keep the title, even though certain situations he should not be keeping the title.
Yep. No, he shouldn't have won at fucking Sunday. He should have lost. That's just me, though. Basement?
In my opinion, man, the Kofi Kingston, the title run has been lackluster. He's
I
another
agree.
guy, I say, better chasing the title. He's also a guy that I don't know, outside of the immediate, he got when he won it, all the, when I say heat, I guess, the fanfare, and everybody wanted him to win, and there was purpose to it at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's purposeless, and he's also, the New Day are over regardless if the titles or not.
Correct.
You could take all the titles away, and they'd still be as popular as they currently are.
I agree.
So the title is not being elevated on him, and neither is he being elevated with the title on him. So there's other people that could have used it. I'm a strong proponent of having most of the time have a heel hold the title, and it just makes the face better at chasing. I thought Samoa Joe should be a champion long time ago, and he's just wasting away to a point now where he's Bray Wyatt 2.0.
Yep. Totally agree. Trek?
I don't mind it, but I think the best thing he's done so far was when he flipped off Joe, and I mean he got over doing that. But it's like we said, he doesn't need the title. it was cool they got the title after working 11 years for it, but it's just kind of stagnated now. That being said, do not be surprised if he keeps it till Survivor Series, because I could see them.
Well, he's going to keep it past
Survivor.
He's going to keep it past Survivor Series then, because it's not a fucking. There's no championship changes during that, unless they're changing how they do Survivor Series.
Well, they could do it the SmackDown before, like they did with Daniel Bryan.
Why must they continue to fucking do that? It's a repeat. They're repeating. There'd be 3 years in a row that they did that. It's stupid and makes no sense.
I know, but you don't put it past them. They've done it before.
I don't think they ain't doing that.
Yeah.
I don't see them doing that. Bobbit?
Honestly, he should have lost the fucking belt after WrestleMania.
Okay. I don't get it. Elaborate, please.
I'm sorry, but Kofi has been this title run has been boring as shit.
Okay.
He should have lost it to Joe. Hell, he should have lost it to somebody already. Like
Kofi, like Dolph
it's cool
Ziggler?
that he won, but get it off of him already. Jesus Christ.
Okay. Well, Bobbit's butt hurt. Here's my issue. I think his title run has been shit, and I'll tell you why. You name me, and if I was booking Kofi Kingston, I wouldn't have him come out throwing pancakes to the fucking fans. What champion? Name me one champion that fucking acted like a fucking buffoon. And plus he dances like he's got ants in his pants when he comes out to the fucking ring. Why do they make their champions look like dumbasses all the time? What is so funny about a fucking world champion now? We're talking about a world champion. Not even the 24/7 champion. We're talking about the world champion coming out throwing pancakes to the fans that are unedible because they're cold as fuck, and dancing around like he's got ants in his pants. This title run needs to fucking end now. I understand why they did it. They gave the fans what they wanted at WrestleMania. He should have lost that fucking title at Money in the Bank.
Now, I will say, JP, there is a storyline that needed to be told with this title run, and it's not being told, and that's the implosion of the New Day. That's
Yes.
the only way this title run could be saved. I know they won't break him up, but hear me out. If either his head got too big because he owned the championship and he started to separate himself from the other two and kind of like, maybe they were in a tag match and they could have used his help, but he didn't show up. Like he became, maybe he's the heel turn of the team, or you take one of the other two and make them the heel turn. Make the two, make Big E and Xavier turn on him and he stays face. Either way, that needed to happen or needs to happen in order for the title reign to have any worth.
Yep.
But I know why they won't do it.
Yep.
And
Too much
all
money.
do.
Too much money. The New Day's worth too much.
But that was the one storyline.
Yep. No, I agree. I agree with you. I think we've talked about that before. That being said, you fucking idiots that fucking come at me on fucking Twitter and say, well, have you ever wrestled? No. But I've watched wrestling since I was 6. 40 years. All right? I think I can kind of see what's entertaining and what is not, and what is good and what is not. I know I've never fucking booked a show, but I'm pretty sure I could book a champion not to be treated like a fucking idiot. Not that fucking hard. You want to come at me and say, and Alexa Bliss, another fucking group of fucking fans that came at me today. Fuck them. They're a bunch of fucking idiots. And I'll tell you why. When you come at me and say that she's the only thing you can come at me with is that she's good on the mic. That is not, and I even said it today, is this world promo entertainment or is it world wrestling entertainment? I want to see more fucking wrestling and less fucking promos. I timed it. They had, what I can't even remember what it was. There was 57 minutes worth of commercials, 40 minutes worth of wrestling, and what about 50 minutes worth of fucking of promo time? That should ultimately, there should be like 30 minutes of promo time, 60 minutes of wrestling, and maybe 50 minutes or so of commercials. And that doesn't even equal 3 hours. It's 180 hours. Because it was Raw that I timed. How does that make any fucking sense? If you want to watch this, and then they come at me with, well, if you don't like it, go watch AEW or Ring of Honor. I said I do. But they do the same fucking things. They do the promos, wrestling. Just WWE does more promos than wrestling. Don't come at me and fucking tell me, because I'll just come at you and say, go fucking watch Young and the Restless if you want to watch fucking soap opera. I don't want to see that shit on my fucking TV. That Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins bullshit? Fuck that. Thank God that's over. I read that on Twitter today. Thank God that shit is over. They did an interview with Seth Rollins and he said, we're moving on. He says, yeah, we're moving on from it. I'm like, thank fucking God. We don't get this fucking, I don't give a fuck whether. And then on Twitter the other day, Becky Lynch, somebody said something, or Ryan Satin said something on Twitter and he said, you know, Becky should have screwed Seth. And Becky comes out on Twitter, I did. Well, I don't fucking want to hear that shit.
I thought that was fucking funny.
It was funny, but I don't want to fucking know that Becky Lynch took it up the ass from Seth Rollins. I don't care.
I'm pretty sure nobody said that.
Well, I don't. How do we know? How do we know? I'm just saying.
Russo said it.
I think with a lot of the frustration that we're all facing with this is we spoke about Kofi Kingston, who, though he is champion and is credible in ring, on the mic and everything, he comes out, throws pancakes, fucking dances around, and wears these primary colors. He's kind of like a kids champ. He's the kids champion because that's who they're catering to with him.
Yep.
Then you have Seth Rollins, who is literally the sidekick to Becky Lynch as your other main men's champion.
Yep.
It's just like nobody was really credible at that point in time. Now we got Brock Lesnar back which I didn't want to see, but you know what? Thank the fuck Lord, he's like sent by God himself to save us from this absolute trash.
And then I had somebody ask me, well, who do you think is a credible champion? Who do you guys think is a credible champion on SmackDown besides Kofi Kingston?
AJ Styles?
Well, he's not on SmackDown anymore. I agree with you.
Wild card. Everybody's everywhere.
Yeah, it's true.
It's true.
That's true. I think if built right, and I know he doesn't need the title because of where he's at, is Kevin Owens.
Yeah, Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe. Anybody?
Yeah. Anybody. But definitely not. I just want them to get the title off of Kofi Kingston. I want them to get the title off of fucking Becky Lynch. They need to figure out a way to get the title off of her, too.
Hell, Kofi Kingston is a credible champion, if booked correctly.
Yes.
He's basically no different than he was a year ago now, just has a strap around his waist.
Exactly. But I'm just so sick of fucking people fucking telling me that I need to... It's entertainment. Well, no fucking shit, it's entertainment, you dumbass. Last time I looked, fucking wrestling was entertainment. It's not about the fucking promos. Somebody told me it's about the promos. I'm like, are you a fucking idiot? Go cry to your mom about fucking Alexa Bliss sucking. I don't want to fucking hear it anymore. It's fucking ridiculous.
Becky Lynch, you got over here, who is basically like if the awkward jokester tried to be the Fonz. Like you can't be the coolest and baddest chick on the block, but also be cringy with these puns left, right, and center, and like just their character doesn't just bashing heads because who she is and who she's portraying, though she can kind of do it, she can't fully do it. Therefore, stop doing it.
Yep. I agree. Anybody else want to add anything? That's what I wanted. I'm just so sick and tired of fucking these stands.
Yeah.
These people are.
something to say.
Hold on. These people are fucking obsessed. That's what a stand is. You are an obsessed fan.
Exactly. Stop calling
Grow
yourself a fucking
up.
stan. It's not a good thing.
Grow up. You're not in fucking high school. I hope some of these kids aren't in high school anymore. Well, some of them are. But my God, wait until you get into the fucking real world. You can't act like a fucking asshole all the time. And then this motherfucker yesterday. Good God. It's fucking
Give
people.
yourself a heart attack.
No, I'm good. Wendy's pooping. These people are mind blowing. They're telling me I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I've been a wrestling fan for 40 fucking years. I kind of do know what I'm talking about. I'm not like fucking other people that think they are the shit. I may not always be right, like some people think they are, and y'all know what I'm talking about, and no, it's not that guy. But it's think about it, man. Think about it. Before you fucking tweet at somebody that knows and kind of understands what's going on. You know, I get it. You enjoy wrestling. You're a fan of that person. But you know what? Don't come at somebody that looks at it from a perspective where they don't have a favorite. I do not have a favorite wrestler. I never really have. So, that being said, Bobbit, go ahead.
Fuck Alexa Bliss. She's overrated. That is all.
What? Whoa.
God damn.
Wow. Okay.
About fucking time, Bobbit.
Anybody else? Trek?
All I could say for these fans is, hello, McFly, hello. Where's that? We need that gif of Biff smacking Marty and George in the head with his cane from Back to the Future 2, because these people are acting like idiots.
Right.
And then if we don't like a wrestler, they'll call us racist. It's like, you fucking morons.
Right. Heather, do you have anything you would like to add?
Children need to learn their place when talking about certain things, especially when they're speaking to adults. I'll leave it at that.
Gina?
Just stop fucking calling yourself Stans. Listen to Eminem's song. Listen to the fucking song. It's not a good thing. Just stop. Just fucking stop. Because you sound like a psychopathic bitch.
Well, that's what a stan is.
Yeah, exactly.
So you are a stan, but stop fucking being one because you look like a fool. Other than that, I don't have anything. Basement, do you have anything else you want to add?
I mean, I'm with you guys. I think in the end, it's perspective of how you're looking at the business. I've never always looked at it this way, but as I've come back to wrestling, as I've gotten older, I look at like everything that's going on as much as I can understand it with booking. I'm not looking at, I'm kind of like crushing on one of these fucking people. That's why they're my favorite. It's more along the terms of, can they do what is required to be at the level that they should be at? And how are they being booked? And how does the company run? This is what fascinates me a lot more as an adult watching wrestling. When I was a kid watching wrestling, it was more like, oh, Austin is so cool. But I never looked at it this way in the Attitude Era because mentally I wasn't as developed as I am now in terms of looking at things.
Yep.
So a lot of people, like, this is why I say when you fight these people, there's no actual point because they don't have the objectivity to look at it the same way.
I get it.
Completely different viewpoints, and they're just in this mode where it's like, you're making fun of somebody I like. Let me not think of why you might not like this person, because all that matters is that you don't.
I guess I joined Twitter to educate people. I guess. I don't fucking know.
You might as well just shoot yourself.
I'm thinking
exactly.
right? Well, thanks for that. Even though sometimes, Basement, me and you have the mentality of 15-year-olds at times when we're watching wrestling while we're drinking.
Oh, that's
But
for goddamn sure.
You want to watch fucking Undertaker versus fucking Goldberg again?
Saudi Arabia.
Oh my god, no!
Great match.
So, that being said, I want to thank everybody for being here. This will be a weekly thing. We'll probably be doing it about the same time or a little bit before the time that we started tonight. But I want to thank everybody for being here. It's a great input from everybody. Next week, we'll probably be getting closer to the end of the G1, so I'm sure that we'll know by then who is taking on who. We should be close to it, but anyway. And then, so there you go. There you have it. And hopefully we'll have more matches for SummerSlam. And AEW doesn't have an event until what? August,
31st, All Out.
and I'm probably going to be all out on that show too. But anyway,
And it's a good thing to add that August 31st, there is a lot of shit going on. New Japan is in England that night. We've got AEW for All Out, and WWE, I believe, has something going on that night too.
okay,
NXT UK.
There we
Yeah,
go.
that's it.
okay. All right. Well, I know I'm not going to be watching NXT UK, but so that being said, y'all have a great night, and we will talk to you next week, and we will see you throughout the stuff. Also, just keep in mind, Basement, you need to check out Batman. I got to check out Batman too. I heard it's fucking hilarious on this channel. On this channel. So make sure you check that out. There's also other gaming content on here. And yep. And we will be uploading some other content here shortly as well. So that being said, I want to thank everybody for being here. And everybody that Ronnie should be back too. Ronnie will be joining us too, hopefully next week again. So that being said, I know I keep forgetting to, and then I'm adding stuff. So that being said, finally, I will see you guys later. Have a good night.
Where fucking God is-